Good morning. Coming to you live in the gym in Southern Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment and still counting. 110 floor memorial stair climb for Battalion Chief John Williamson off of Battalion 6. The Bowery to Bellevue. This 110 floors consists of 7 verticals and 9 floors to finish symbolically going all the way to the top. This climb is dedicated to his wife Mary, his daughter Jessica, and his son Mark. We're going up with honor and respect for the sacrifices that were made on 9/11, 2001, 19 years ago, in the response to the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil. Our brother is the 341st climb since beginning this mission almost 5 years ago. So, with honor and respect, Battalion Chief John Williamson from Battalion 6, which is housed with Recon 3 there in Lower Manhattan, is taking his trip to the top from the Bowery to Bellevue. So this is the 110th floor memorial stair climb for Battalion Chief John Williamson. He was 46 years of age at the time of his response on 9/11. Due to the bravery, valor, and the heroism that was shown, upwards of 25,000 were saved by all who responded. This climb is dedicated to his wife Mary and his 2 teenage children at the time, Jessica and Mark. One thing that I found out when I read on Battalion Chief Williamson, he was known as a Renaissance man. That our brother was an avid golfer, so much that he wouldn't just play golf, he wanted to be a pro at golf. So he got lessons, and it said he would practice in his backyard there in Warwick, New York. Our brother built the family house, a wood and glass house there in Warwick. It said he then built a basketball court for his daughter Jessica, and he would take and attend all of her basketball games. His wife Mary said he always got everything done, to include lunch dates with his mother Lucy, which he'd always make time for. This is your climb to give honor and respect for the sacrifices that were made so that others could live. As I said, our brother rose to the ranks of a 23-year career with the FDNY. The last station he was assigned to, or last position he was assigned to, he had recently, it said, just come to the Battalion 6 position there in Lower Manhattan, where he worked at, housed there with Recon 3, Ladder 3. From what I read, he had just recently gotten there, and the guys of the battalion had just been able to get to know him a little bit. For our brother's 23 years of service to the citizens of New York, we climb. Taking him all the way to that symbolic 110th floor, finishing his footsteps as those who've gone before him. I was reflecting this morning on this journey, knowing that our brother is the 341st brother to be carried to the top. As a nation and a country, we need to remember and reflect on the sacrifices that were made and those that continue, instead of just trying to erase the history of the past. Right now, for the Williamsons, we climb to take our brother to the very top while sharing his story on this stairwell in stadiums, this stair climber in stadiums and stairwells, on bike rides, and in 5Ks or other runs, not only across the United States, but across the world. We will never forget the sacrifices that were made, because greater hath no man that lay his own life down for the life of somebody else. That is the ultimate sacrifice that was made so that others could live. And right now, Battalion Chief John Williamson is making his journey to the top for his wife Mary and his, at the time, teenager children, Mark and Jessica. It said that Chief Williamson was so much into golf that he had gotten lessons. He would practice in his backyard, and he got Mark into golfing. And it said that when they went to a golf course, they would take off for hours at a time. Our brother loved his family as much as he loved being a part of the FDNY for his 23 years of service. He will always be remembered. The family lived in Warwick, New York, in a house built of glass and wood by Battalion Chief Williamson. Also, additionally, it said he actually built the furniture inside the house. And then he added that basketball court for his daughter Jessica to practice. And he also made sure he never missed any of her games. He was known as the Renaissance Man by his loved ones. One thing I thought was interesting from what his wife Mary was saying, the best time to get him to do stuff around the house was in the winter, because you couldn't go play golf with all the frost on the ground. For our brother of Battalion 6, housed with Ladder 3 Recon in Lower Manhattan, from the Bowery to Bellevue, this is his 110th floor memorial climb, all the way to the very top. With honor and respect, we carry our brother for his family, the FDNY, and our country to know that 19 years ago, we made a promise and a commitment that we would never forget, but instead, we would always remember the sacrifices that were made on 9/11. Our brothers did not know what they were getting into. Outside of it was a rescue effort that was taking place. They didn't know what was going to happen, but they still went in and rescued upwards of 25,000 because of the valor, bravery, and heroism that had been shown. And following this, and 2 more climbs, after the climb for Captain Woolley off of Port Truck and Firefighter York off, I believe it was engine 285, the last climb of the 343 commitment. The end's still counting. Those who worked the pile at ground zero for days, weeks, and months, up to almost 9 months later in the recovery effort. They will be remembered. Their stories will be shared. They will take their turn going up, finishing the journey to the top symbolically, the 110th floor. For those who succumbed to 9/11, cancers, and illnesses, they will always be remembered. For the families, you will not be forgotten. This climb is dedicated to Battalion Chief John Williamson, of Battalion 6, the Bowery to Bellevue, housed with Recon 903 there in Lower Manhattan. Battalion Chief Williamson was 46 years of age with a 23 years of service given to the citizens of New York. Our brother responded on 9/11 to the worst terrorist attack on U.S. soil, but went into action in the rescue effort. And because of their efforts, upwards of 25,000 were saved. We will never forget, but instead we will always remember. We made a promise. 19 years ago, we made that promise. And for Mary, Mark, and Jessica, you will never be forgotten. Your father and husband will not just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. Their story is shared for anyone who wants to listen and learn. This is why we climb. To carry each and every brother to that symbolic 110th floor, the top of the towers, one at a time. And as of the completion of this climb, the final 2 brothers, one local on the 10th for Captain Woolley off Port Truck, and our brother Firefighter York carried in New York City prior to the 20th anniversary of 9/11. This 5-year commitment, initial climb given for the 343 brothers that made the ultimate sacrifice so that others could live, will be finished. And then the end still counting will start to be carried vertical. Their stories to be shared as best as possible. Right now, we're going to the top for Battalion Chief John Williamson, for his wife Mary, and his teens at the time, young adults now. The Jessica, his daughter, and Mark. For his mother Lucy, and his brother Dan, and any other family members of the Williamsons that I was not able to find research on. This climb is dedicated to you all, so you know that we're keeping our promise and our commitment on this stair climber, in stairwells, in stadiums and coliseums, on road races, in 5Ks, in bike rides from across the country. We will never forget 9/11, but instead we will always remember both the rescue and recovery efforts. This is why we climb, to share their stories, so we do not just fade away to the past because it's in the past. Instead, we will keep our brothers in the forefront and their memories alive, so their families know that they will not fade away, but instead they will never be forgotten, and they will always be remembered. This is why we climb. The 341st brother going vertical, the third climb of this tour, to which I'm just about to finish and be off until the next. For Battalion Chief John Williamson of Battalion 6, from the Bowery to Bellevue, Battalion 6 is going to the top, housed with Recon Ladder 3 in Lower Manhattan. Our brother has roughly 2 verticals left to get him up to the 101st floor and take him there right now. That's exactly what we're doing. With honor and respect to his wife, Mary, and his son and daughter, Jessica and Mark, I promise you he will never be forgotten. This is his climb, his story. For Battalion Chief John Williamson, we're on the second to last vertical coming up for our brother to be carried all the way to the very top, to finish their footsteps all the way, symbolically going beside me as we take each and every floor to the 110th, that symbolic top of the World Trade Center. On 9/11, our brother was 46 years of age, a husband and a father, a son, and our brother. He had 23 years of service to the citizens of New York that will never be forgotten. For this, we climb. For his families, both his wife and children, which they weren't teens, they were teens at the time, his mother, his brother, and anyone I was unable to gather research on, from the Williamson family to his family at the FDNY, at Battalion 6, from Bowery to Bellevue. Taking him up with honor all the way to the very top, as we share his story going towards the last vertical to the 101st floor for Battalion Chief John Williamson. The purpose of this commitment is to share their stories, to always remember our brothers, their families, and the sacrifices that were made so that others would be able to live. This is now 341 out of the 343 brothers. 5 years it's taken to get to where we are. We will never forget. We will always remember. Our brother built a house made of wood and glass in Warwick, New York, for his family, his wife, Mary, his daughter, Jessica, and his son, Mark. He actually built all the furniture in the house. His wife said he always got everything done, to include having lunch with his mother, Lucy, which he would always make time to have lunch with her. Our brother and 342 others in the FDNY laid down their life so that others could live. Greater hath no man that he would give his own life to save another. Taking him to the very top. We're almost to that last vertical that we're going up on right now in a few seconds to get us to the 101st floor. Right now, this climb is dedicated to his wife Mary, son and daughter Mark and Jessica, to the FDNY from Bowery U to Bellevue, Battalion 6, housed with Recon Ladder 3, which the original Recon 3 is in a permanent memorial in the 9/11 Memorial Museum. This is his finish of his climb. Hey, Chris. 2 more brothers left to go after this last climb. We're closer than ever now to finishing. One more here on the 10th, and our final brother, firefighter York, in New York City before 9/11, and the 20th anniversary. With honor and respect, they go vertical. We're almost to the end of this last vertical, to the 101st floor, in just a few seconds. Taking our brother for Battalion 6. Now we're at the 101st floor, sharing his story while we're climbing the stair climber. This is why we climb. So our brother, Battalion Chief John Williamson. Oh man, I dropped the page. So when we get to the very end, I'm gonna have to pick it up real quick before I get my final respect. Taking our brother to finish his footsteps to the symbolic top of the tower as we go vertical for the 341st time. The 3rd time in this 48-hour tour of my fire station coming to you live in the gym in Southern Park, New Mexico. This is the 343 commitment, and so counting. 110th floor memorial stair climb for Battalion Chief John Williamson of Battalion 6, housed with Ladder 3 Recon out of the Lower Manhattan. Battalion 6 from Bowery, U to Bellevue. Taking our brother on these last few floors with honor and respect, we go vertical. So he will never, ever be forgotten. For his wife Mary and son and daughter Mark and Jessica, your husband and father will always be remembered and never just become a name on a plaque or a picture on a wall. We're almost there. 2 brothers left to carry in this almost 5-year commitment. We will always remember not only their sacrifices in the rescue efforts, but the recovery efforts, with the end so counting, with his 23 years of service given to the citizens of New York. '110 floors. I'm gonna have to try to find that paper real quick. So for a second, we'll put the helmet down. Our brother will never, ever, ever be forgotten. So I'm gonna put that there for just a second while I try to find our brother, his picture. Rest easy, BC. We got it from here.